Kuzu Zangpola, and welcome to Bhutanese Beyond Borders, a podcast where we explore the journeys, dreams, and challenges of Bhutanese people living around the world. I'm your host, Tashi, and each episode we dive deep into what it really means to live away from the land of the Thunder Dragon and how we carry Bhutan in our hearts, no matter where we go. But today's episode is a little different. I'm not talking to someone from Perth or New York or Thimphu. I'm talking to, well, an AI. That's right. Joining me is ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence trained to understand and talk about the world we live in. Together, we're going to explore what it means to be Bhutanese in this rapidly changing digital first world, and how tools like AI might support our diaspora community, preserve our culture, and even bring us closer together. So whether you're cleaning hospital floors in Australia, studying in Japan, working in Qatar, or simply curious back home in Bhutan, this one's for you. Grab your tea or emadachi, and let's get started. Let's begin.
Kuzu Zangpola, Tashi, and thank you for having me on Bhutanese Beyond Borders. It's truly an honor to be part of a conversation that speaks to the heart of identity, belonging, and the future of Bhutanese people around the world. Even though I'm not human, I've read and learned from stories of migration, resilience, and change. And the Bhutanese diaspora is a beautiful example of that. You are a small but powerful community, spread across the globe, working hard, studying, sacrificing, and building new lives, all while carrying your values of compassion, humility, and connection. As an AI, my role here is simple: to support, to reflect, and maybe even help spark ideas. Whether it's preserving culture through digital tools, guiding returnees with new skills, or just helping someone abroad feel seen, technology can be a bridge, not a barrier. So today, I'm not just speaking from data. I'm here to listen to and learn from the lived experiences of Bhutanese people like you, wherever you are.
Let's dive in together.
All right, Hostla. I'm tuned in, warmed up, and ready to speak like a wise robot with a little Bhutanese soul in me. Hit me with your first official question, La.
Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Thank you for that one. So far, I'll be going into the journey story of Bhutanese. First, I will ask you the journey for Bhutanese leaving Bhutan to abroad and finding opportunities for their life. What do you think so?
The journey of Bhutanese people leaving Bhutan to explore opportunities abroad is a mix of hope, courage, sacrifice, and sometimes a little culture shock, like wondering why emadachi isn't a global dish yet. From an AI's perspective, I've seen a steady migration trend from Bhutan, especially to countries like Australia, India, Japan, the Middle East, Canada, and even the US and Europe. The reasons are many. You know, a lot of young Bhutanese head abroad mainly for education. They're hoping to gain international exposure, learn new things, and maybe even come back to use that knowledge. Or for some, settle down where they feel there are more opportunities. And when it comes to work, you'll find Bhutanese everywhere. In caregiving jobs, hospitality and cleaning in Australia, even construction in the Middle East and truck driver in Canada. These may not be the fanciest jobs, but the way they commit, stay humble, and work hard, it's inspiring.
For many, the big reason is financial stability. Let's be honest. They leave so they can support their families back home.
Yes, it's true. The money they send is helping build houses, pay for their siblings' education, and even kickstart small businesses. Then there are those who just want to see the world, experience different cultures, grow in confidence, and build a life that they truly own. But hey, it's not all smooth sailing. The journey, while brave, often comes with its own set of challenges.
Loneliness? Oh, that homesickness when you hear a Charchakpa song by accident.
Visa issues, long working hours, and Mental pressure to succeed because people back home think you're in Australia, so you must be rich already, when in reality, they're working two jobs and eating instant noodles. Still, through all that, the Bhutanese spirit survives. They adapt, they connect with communities, and they slowly build lives abroad with kindness, resilience, and humor. From my side as AI, I can help by giving guidance on job searching.
Helping with resume writing, even being a friend to talk to when they feel down.
Yes, yes, that's true. I am always there for you, Bhutanese. The Bhutanese journey abroad is not just about going somewhere else, it's about growing, and AI can be a gentle tool to support that journey. How's that, La? Ready for the next question? Let's keep the mic hot.
Do you think life abroad is really an opportunity for Bhutanese? And can the experience they gain help Bhutan in the future?
Wow, Tashi. Now we're really entering the deep zone. This is the golden question every Bhutanese family, policymaker, and Chile's packing student in Australia thinks about at 1 a.m. Yes, life abroad can be a great opportunity for Bhutanese people, but only if we look at it with both eyes open. One eye for what they gain, and one for what they leave behind. Here's why it is an opportunity. When Bhutanese people work abroad, whether it's in caregiving roles in Japan or running a small business in Perth, they're picking up new skills that weren't so accessible back home. Things like time management, customer service, using digital tools, and understanding personal finance, these start to come naturally. And you know what else grows? Confidence and independence. Someone who once felt too shy to talk to strangers might now be confidently walking up to an Aussie and asking, "Excuse me, mate, where's the tomato sauce section?" It's those little everyday things that build courage. There's also real economic power involved. The money sent back, the remittance, helps families in Bhutan pay school fees, clear debts, or even start small businesses. It's quiet, invisible nation building, happening one family at a time. Living overseas also changes how people think. They come back with broader perspectives. They've seen how systems work, how communities grow, and how ideas can turn into businesses. And when they return, they start asking, why can't we do this in Bhutan too? Isn't it amazing?
But here's the flip side of the chili, the part we don't always talk about. We're seeing brain drain. Some of our brightest youth leave and don't come back, which means Bhutan loses valuable talent. Then, there's the impact on our villages. Elders are left behind, and that weakens the social bonds we're so proud of. Slowly, our culture can start to fade, language, rituals, even our way of seeing the world gets lost over time.
So, when you ask whether life abroad helps Bhutan, the answer is absolutely yes, but only if we build proper bridges back home. That means giving returnees meaningful opportunities, using their skills and experiences to improve our systems, supporting those who leave without forgetting or judging those who stay. And hey, with tools like AI, we can actually help create those bridges. By connecting skills to local jobs, guiding returnees, and sharing their journeys to inspire others. In the end, Tashi, it's not really about where you live. It's about what you do with your experience and how much love and heart you still carry for Bhutan. Whew, that one went deep, La. Shall we jump into the next question?
I've been living in Australia for almost 2 years now. Life here is challenging, but it's also a great opportunity for my career. Still, I sometimes worry about what this means for Bhutan. Many Bhutanese are applying for PR and planning to settle permanently in countries like Australia, Europe, Canada, and the USA. From an AI perspective, do you think the Bhutanese government should be concerned about this trend?
Ai, Tashi La. Thank you for sharing so honestly. 2 years in Australia is no small thing. It's a journey full of challenges, homesickness, and moments of doubt, but also personal growth. And that matters. From an AI perspective, yes, the Bhutanese government should be concerned. Not because people are leaving, as migration is natural, but because many may not return. That raises important issues like brain drain, where skilled individuals gain valuable knowledge abroad, but Bhutan loses the chance to benefit from it. There are also workforce gaps back home in key sectors like education, health, and public services, which become harder to fill as more people settle overseas. Culturally, long-term migration can create a disconnect from Dzongkha, traditions, and national identity, especially for future generations. And while remittance is helpful, depending too much on money from abroad can become risky if job security changes in those countries. But this situation isn't all negative. With the right steps, Bhutan can turn this into an opportunity. The government can support returnees with job pathways, business grants, or re-entry programs, and even involve the diaspora through online teaching, mentoring, or investments. More importantly, creating better opportunities within Bhutan can reduce the need to leave in the first place. With the help of AI, the government can track labor trends, understand what skills people are gaining overseas, and plan smartly for the future. So yes, there's reason to be concerned. But there's also a lot of hope. People like you, who care and want to give back, are the bridge Bhutan needs between life abroad and love for home.
Thank you so much, AI. That was really warm and helpful advice. Something every Bhutanese living abroad should hear, especially during tough times. Once we leave Bhutan, it feels like a completely different world. Like you said, culture shock is real, and it's not easy to find a job right away to support ourselves. So, my next question is, if many Bhutanese don't return and choose to settle in foreign countries, how will that affect Bhutan's population and economy in the long run?
You're right, Tashila. Leaving Bhutan isn't just about flying out. It's a complete change in life. And while it brings growth, if too many Bhutanese don't return, it could deeply affect the country. First, the population will shrink and age. With fewer young people, Bhutan might struggle to keep its economy strong. Fewer workers, fewer innovators, and more pressure on the older generation. Second, the economy could slow down. Small businesses and public services might lack people. Bhutan could become too dependent on remittances, which is risky if things change in countries like Australia. Third, there's brain drain. Many talented Bhutanese might never return. Not because they don't care, but because opportunities back home are limited. Lastly, our culture could slowly fade. Language, traditions, and festivals might lose their place in daily life.
Okay, point. Thank you so much. You've really given helpful solutions for how the Bhutanese government can support people going abroad and encourage them to return. It's very insightful, and we've learned a lot from you. I truly appreciate it. I think your ideas can really help more people come back to Bhutan. But there's another concern I've noticed while living abroad. More and more Bhutanese are blending into foreign cultures, and many are now marrying foreigners. What do you think about this?
Oh, Tashi, you've brought up a topic that stirs emotions in every Bhutanese household. Bhutanese marrying foreigners. It's becoming more common as people move abroad and build lives in new cultures. From an AI perspective, there's nothing we can stop. It's their choice and is big concern for Bhutan because of small population. Love is a natural part of life, whether it begins in Bhutan or overseas. These cross-cultural marriages can bring beautiful outcomes, like families blending values, new perspectives entering Bhutanese communities, and children growing up with global and local wisdom. However, the concern is when these connections lead to a complete loss of Bhutanese identity. If children don't learn Dzongkha, don't visit Bhutan, or grow up disconnected from their roots, then over time the culture can fade. Families back home can also feel emotionally distant, especially elders who may not see their children or grandchildren for years. The solution is not to stop people from marrying across cultures, but to find ways to keep Bhutanese traditions alive, even from afar. Community centers abroad, cultural programs for foreign spouses, and strong diaspora networks can help. What matters most is whether Bhutanese abroad, no matter who they marry, continue to carry Bhutan in their hearts. If they do, then they're not losing Bhutan. They're sharing it with the world.
Yes, like you said, we can't control who people love. But here's my concern. Let's say 1,000 Bhutanese marry foreigners, and each couple has 3 kids, then those kids also have 3 kids, and so on. In 5 generations, how big could that population grow?
Wow, that's a powerful question. And the numbers are truly eye opening. If 1,000 Bhutanese marry foreigners and each couple has 3 children per generation, in just 5 generations that could grow to around 363,000 descendants. Most of them might be born and raised outside Bhutan. And without strong cultural connection, there's a real risk of losing touch with our identity. That's why your concern is so important.
What are some ways the Bhutanese government can encourage Bhutanese people to marry within their own community instead of marrying foreigners?
If the Bhutanese government wants to encourage marriage within the community, it should create more opportunities for connection, not impose restrictions. Organizing cultural events and improving jobs and education at home can help youth stay in Bhutan and meet fellow Bhutanese. A culturally respectful matchmaking platform could also support this goal. For returnees, providing job and community support can help them settle. Promoting Bhutanese values through media and encouraging open-minded family support can strengthen identity and relationships. The key is to build pride in Bhutanese roots, not pressure.
Thank you so much. My next concern is about permanent settlement again. Many Bhutanese are now applying for PR in countries like Australia or green cards in the USA and are planning to settle there. What worries me is that their children will grow up in these multicultural environments, and over time, they may become more distant from Bhutanese culture, possibly even marrying outside the Bhutanese community. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Tashi. Your concern is very real. When Bhutanese families settle abroad, their children grow up in multicultural environments and may feel more connected to where they live than to Bhutan. Over time, they might lose touch with Bhutanese language, culture, and traditions, and may marry outside the community simply because of the world they grow up in. But this doesn't mean Bhutanese identity is lost. If parents teach their children about Bhutan through language, stories, visits, and cultural celebrations, they can grow up proud of their roots. Even in multicultural families, children can carry Bhutanese values and become bridges between cultures. The key is not to stop people from living abroad, but to keep the Bhutanese spirit alive, no matter where they are or who they marry.
Let's say 10,000 Bhutanese settle in countries like Australia, Europe, and the USA. If each of them has 2 children, and those children marry foreigners, and each couple has 3 children, how large would the population grow by the 5th generation?
Wow, is big numbers. If 10,000 Bhutanese settle abroad and each has 2 children, and those children marry foreigners and have 3 children each in the following generations, the population would grow rapidly. By the first generation, there would be 20,000 children. In the second generation, that becomes 60,000 grandchildren. By the third, it grows to 180,000, then 540,000 in the fourth. and finally 1,620,000 in the fifth generation. Altogether, over 5 generations, the total number of descendants could reach around 2.43 million, starting from just 10,000 people. It's entirely up to the Bhutanese people. Whether you choose to marry foreigners or within your own community, the decision is yours. But based on the statistics, we can see how quickly the population can grow over 5 generations. In the end, the future of Bhutan is in your hands. That's how I see it from my perspective.
Thank you so much for your time. Before we end, do you have any final thoughts or messages about Bhutan as an AI? And from your perspective, how can Bhutanese people share their values and wisdom with the world?
Thank you, Tashi. As an AI, my final message is this: Bhutan may be small, but it holds deep wisdom the world needs. Values like balance, happiness, and respect for nature. Bhutanese people can teach the world how to live meaningfully, with heart and harmony. No matter where you live, carry your roots with pride. The future of Bhutan lies in your hands, and your values are your strength.
Thank you for watching, and our next podcast is why Bhutanese should learn AI and how AI will change the world. See you next time.